Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Hope everyone had a good weekend. So kicking off this week, like all others, taking a look at the markets and seeing in particular what's going on with Cardano projects. We'll take a quick look first at the overall market, then get into TVL, and then spend a bit of time going through the different projects on Cardano, the movement in the last week, from a price action point of view over on Tap Tools. If you get value, please do share it out. Give the video a like, comment questions, or even projects you'd like me to take a deeper look into, and subscribe. This one comes out every Monday and lots of other content throughout the week. Thanks for watching. Let's jump into it. Okay, so kicking it off, taking a look at CoinMarketCap to get an overall picture first. So Bitcoin down 1.6% for the last 7 days, the last week, but overall in the last month, not a whole lot has happened. If we look at the chart, you can see when we broke into this level on the 21st of June, so that is into this zone, which people familiar with the channel will have seen this a long time now on these charts, between 28, 29 and up to 31. Haven't been able to break out above that and just generally trading sideways. Even when we got into this zone back in April, once again, this is where it was stopped. And for anyone who hasn't seen me talking about this before, the reason that this is the zone that I really pay a lot of attention to is if we look back in April 22, when the market was crashing, this is where we got our support, was in around this zone here before we eventually fell out of it. But even back in the last bull run, this is the area that we constantly got buying pressure when to push Bitcoin and the overall market back up. You can see it back here in January 21, same back here, May 21, June 21, and July 21, all the time pushing us back up to new highs for Bitcoin at the time. So I feel if we can break above that 31 and start closing daily candles, that's when things start to get very interesting. Now that's from a technical perspective. Obviously, you have a lot going on fundamentally with the SEC and with ETFs potentially getting approved. So we have to keep an eye on both. Looking at Cardano then, the price of ADA, the last week hasn't done anything, down 0.12%. So once again, it's been a sideways week for the price of ADA. And if we get into TVL, then looking at it, it is sitting at just under $184 million in TVL. So this is tokens locked up in DeFi projects building on Cardano. So if we look at it, still haven't got near the highs back here from April of, what was that, 313 million USD. So in terms of dollars, but if we look at this in terms of ADA, the chart is continually moving upwards to the right. That is the trend. Last few days, bit of a pullback, not much. Even with that, we're still at 580 million ADA in TVL right now. So coming on down then, looking at the individual protocols. So keeping in mind that the price of ADA hasn't really moved, that gives us a nice starting point right now for this week. Normally ADA's moved and you have to try and do that mental arithmetic in your head. But Minswap, still number one by a decent bit, $13 million worth of TVL between it and second place Indigo. Minswap is down 4% for the week. Indigo in around even. Liquid Finance in around even too. ViFi has had a decent fallback in the last week, down 12%. We'll see when we get to talking about tokens. The price of the ViFi token has fallen, so that would have some impact on the TVL there too. Following it up then, you have Jed, Muesliswap. We're going to talk a bit about that one in a few minutes. Up 14% in terms of TVL for the last week. They launched a new token over the week or over the weekend for their options trading, which is going to come to Cardano soon. And their own milk token has been doing well. Followed up then, Wing Riders, SundaeSwap and aada, all not with a huge amount of movement in terms of TVL. So then if we just take a quick look in terms of overall chains, you can see Cardano is there at number 15. It is in around the same as last week and up 17.5% for the last 30 days. This column here is the last week. This one is the last 30 days. So ZK Sync is in number 14 with 189 million. So not much between us right now. Then you have Kava, DeFi Chain, Solana. So in time, I think we're going to continually see Cardano TVL rising and taking up some of them other spots and breaking into the top 10. Later on this year, I would expect to see us there. So now it's time to take a look at projects and price action over on Tap Tools. So Tap Tools is the one that I use all the time. For anyone not familiar with it, is a must-have now, I think, for anyone looking to trade different tokens on Cardano. So if we look at the trending section to start out, and then we'll close out taking a look at the top 10. But trending looks at, it has Snek as number 1, which is a meme coin on Cardano that a lot of people will be familiar with. Brought lots of new people into Cardano over the last few months. And I think number 1 and number 3 here are very much linked. And a lot of that comes down to a certain vote that is ongoing. So LenFi, or previously known as aada Finance, is a lending and borrowing protocol on Cardano. I've covered it a bit recently with an interview with Mantis from the team, and I done a look at their V2 testnet last week and gave my review of that. But there's a vote ongoing at the minute to add Snek as collateral to LenFi. So this would mean that anyone holding Snek would be able to deposit this onto the platform and take a loan out against that. There was a previous vote here where it was add Snek as a borrowable asset. So this means that you could borrow Snek from the platform, but currently you can't use it as collateral. So this vote here is constantly changing. Every time I look at it, it is changing from yes to no. So that's down to any LenFi holders can come in and vote on whether they want Snek added as collateral. What we've seen is it's been interesting over the last week or so looking at what's going on. Cardano Twitter, or crypto Twitter, has been fairly active and vocal on this. If you start going down through it looking for Snek and LenFi, the high level summary of it is that there's certain parts of both communities that have had differences of opinions here. So obviously the Snek community want to see it being added because it's something else you can do with the Snek token then, but then there's a part of the LenFi community that are voting no. They don't want a meme coin used as collateral on the platform. Then people in the Snek community have bought a lot of LenFi to be able to vote in this, and a few are coming out saying how they're going to short the LenFi price to try and send it way down if the vote ends up being no. So been interesting on both sides, but that's the very high level for anyone who hasn't been following it. And I will say this is probably a very small percentage of both communities that have got involved in the more interesting side of the vote. But that's the two tokens there. Then Opt is a new one in this week. This one only launched last night. So Muesliswap, if you didn't see my catch-up video last Friday with the latest news, Muesliswap, a DEX on Cardano, has launched a new protocol. So they're launching a new protocol which is going to be for options trading on Cardano. This is called Optionflow. So the price of the tokens here doesn't really count, but they had a sale last Friday, and I think I have it here. You can see here I posted this on Twitter of the account that they had the sale from. So everyone had to send in the aada and you're going to get back your LenFi then. So I was looking on their site, actually on their socials, and a lot of the tweets about the sale and the launch seem to have been removed. I will try and find some of the old ones and flash them up on screen here anyway. But you can see they got over 11 million, nearly 12 million aada within the first half an hour. And what they were doing was anyone who got in that half an hour, what was going to happen was they would get a percentage of what they had tried to buy. That was if they didn't know if they were going to sell out, but this was the solution. If they did sell out, they were going to make sure that anybody who came in the first half an hour did get some tokens. So it meant that when you were getting the distribution of OPT tokens, once they closed it off, you got some of your aada back and you also got some of the new tokens. So I think that was a fair way to do it. And they also have a snapshot coming up this week where any holders of the Milk token, which you will have seen here, is in at number 4. That is the token from Muesliswap. Any holders of that will be able to claim an airdrop of a 1-for-1 in terms of 1 milk for 1 OPT token. So it will be interesting to see how the OPT price reacts. If we look at this, let's look at it on the hourly. Right now sitting at 0.8 aada, has had a nice run there. If you were holding 5 milk tokens during the sale on Saturday, then you were able to buy the OPT token at 0.25 aada. And if you weren't holding 5 milk, then it was 0.3. I'm sure most people are going to have been holding the milk token, and that's why they bought in at the cheaper price. I got a few and waiting to see what happens in the next few hours. Going towards the claim and airdrop next week, I might reevaluate and try and sell some out, but I'm going to wait and see how it plays out for the next 24 hours anyway. Then moving on, what else do we have in terms of trending? So milk, we talked about there, fairly volatile week. Some people buying it to be able to qualify for the airdrop, I would say. After the airdrop, or after the snapshot happens on Wednesday this week, I would expect a lot more volatility on this from people who just bought in for the airdrop. Some people will see that as an opportunity if they're long-term believers in the project. So I would say expect volatility in that one this week. Next up, we have Paribus, which recently, I think the week before last, ported over some of their tokens from Ethereum over to Cardano. Initially had a decent run in price and having a bit of a pullback right now. It's a project I have to dive deeper into. For now, I think they're going to be launching on Milk Aada and hopefully in the future at some point on Cardano, but need to get some clarifications in around that. Up next, then you have Indy, IUSD, and World Mobile rounding out the top ones there. So Indy has been having a bit of a sell-off recently after what we would say was, it was one of the first DeFi projects, I think, to really have a big run-up. You can see for the last 30 days has been suffering. But once again, like I say about Milk, that I would expect some downside towards the middle or end of this week. Some people will see it as a chance for accumulation. Some people will see it as they've had the run there. Everyone needs to make that call themselves. So then in the top 10, we have AGIX number 1. World Mobile has claimed number 2 ahead of LenFi once again. Both of them had a similar week, in around down 4, just over 4%. Then Meld is down 6-7% for the week. A lot of people keep asking me about the interview. I'm still waiting on them to book in the interview to dive a bit deeper into what has been happening with Meld, or what the future of Cardano and Meld looks like. Milk we've covered. Copy, Cornucopias have released more screenshots lately. Testing has started. I am hoping to get access this week to test and get in and walk around what they have built. Once I do, I will give some feedback on that, but a good week overall for them. NTX is down over the last week. Snek down. We covered that already, so I won't get into it again. One here that I would say Minswap. I'm surprised we didn't see a little bit more movement in the price of the Min token based on something that they're working on this here. So I shared this out during the week, or towards the end of last week when they put it out. So they're looking at the future of what they want to do with their tokenomics. And I thought this was interesting. There is a full article on this and they're doing different aspects. But this one here I think could be interesting for Min holders. So the fee switch is what they do right now, is they take some of the protocol fees and they put it into their fee switch. So it goes into the ADA Min pair. So whatever they earn in fees, and that's earned in ADA, they then zap that into the Min ADA pair on the DEX. So that means that is one of the reasons, or that is one of the big reasons that Minswap has one of the highest, probably the highest liquidity. You can see by far the highest liquidity on Cardano right now for tokens, because they're taking the fees, they're putting them back in, and when they take that ADA and put it back in, it sells half of the ADA to buy Min and adds that into the liquidity pair. And what they're looking to do is maybe change that up. The fees that are earned are going to go back to Minswap holders, to the holders of the Min token. So it hasn't been passed yet. It's one of the votes that will come up, but it's one worth keeping an eye on if you are a Min holder, because for Min holders, this could be good. And there's some other aspects of the article, which I will cover in a future video. So looking at the money flow then to close us out, this is another feature over on Tap Tools. So if we look at overall, it's looking like funds flowing out of ViFi and Snek and Indy to a degree, and Bank, and flowing into Milk, Min, Copy, and Liquid are the big benefiters from the ones selling out here at the bottom. And with money flow over on Tap Tools, you can go through this, you can look at, so you want to follow some of the whales. What are the whales doing in the last 7 days? The whales are selling off some of their WMT, Snek, Meld, and AGIX and getting into LenFi, stable, which didn't come up today in any of the charts, ViFi, and IUST. So look, there's lots that can be learned from following the different wallets and money and where it's flowing. We will dive into them in other videos. This one has gone on long enough for a Monday morning. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Hopefully you got some value. Leave suggestions down below if there's anything else you want included in these. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.